The integrity of our democratic processes hinges on the availability of accurate and unbiased information. Among the tools used to gauge public opinion, polls occupy a prominent position, influencing not only voter perceptions but also media narratives and campaign strategies. However, concerns have been raised about the potential for manipulation, particularly regarding presidential polls and their alleged bias against Donald Trump. This essay delves into the complex landscape of polling, examining the methodologies employed, the role of media in disseminating poll results, and the potential psychological impact on voters. The current political climate is rife with accusations of skewed polls designed to suppress conservative voters and bolster the opposition. These allegations raise fundamental questions about the trustworthiness of polling data and the potential for manipulation to undermine the democratic process. Is there a concerted effort to present a distorted picture of public opinion? Are polls being weaponized to influence voter behavior and sway election outcomes? This exploration is not about dismissing polls outright, but rather about fostering a critical approach to their interpretation. It's about understanding the potential pitfalls, recognizing the influence of media narratives, and empowering voters to make informed decisions based on a comprehensive understanding of the political landscape. We must equip ourselves with the tools to discern between genuine reflections of public sentiment and manufactured narratives designed to manipulate perceptions. Ultimately, the goal is to encourage a healthy skepticism towards polling data and to emphasize the importance of independent thought and informed decision-making. The future of our democracy depends on citizens who are actively engaged, critically discerning, and resistant to manipulation. This essay is a call for vigilance, for a renewed commitment to truth-seeking, and for a robust defense of the principles that underpin a free and fair electoral process. Recent polls have shown Kamala Harris leading in certain hypothetical matchups against Donald Trump, sparking controversy and raising questions about the validity of these results. While polls can offer valuable insights into public opinion, it is crucial to approach them with a critical eye, especially in a politically charged environment. The seemingly sudden surge in Harris's poll numbers warrants careful scrutiny, considering the various factors that can influence polling outcomes. One key aspect to consider is the methodology employed by different polling organizations. Variations in sample size, demographic representation, and question phrasing can significantly impact the results. Furthermore, the timing of polls can also play a crucial role, as public opinion can fluctuate based on current events and media narratives. A poll conducted immediately after a major news event might not accurately reflect long-term trends. The potential for sampling bias is another critical factor to consider. If the sample population does not accurately represent the broader electorate, the poll results can be skewed. For instance, oversampling certain demographics while undersampling others can lead to inaccurate conclusions about the overall public sentiment. It's essential to examine the demographic breakdown of poll respondents to assess the representativeness of the sample. Furthermore, the way questions are phrased can also influence responses. Leading questions or those that frame issues in a particular way can subtly nudge respondents towards certain answers. Transparency in the polling methodology is crucial for ensuring the credibility of the results. Voters should have access to the full questionnaire and the demographic breakdown of respondents to make informed judgments about the poll's validity. The intricacies of polling methodology often remain opaque to the general public. Yet, understanding these nuances is essential for interpreting poll results accurately. Different polling organizations employ various techniques, each with its own set of strengths and limitations. One common method is random sampling, where participants are selected randomly from a larger population. However, achieving true randomness can be challenging, and biases can creep in if the sampling frame is not representative. Another factor to consider is the mode of data collection. Telephone polls, online surveys, and in-person interviews each have their own biases. For example, telephone polls might exclude individuals who primarily use cell phones or those who are reluctant to answer calls from unknown numbers. Online surveys might overrepresent certain demographics with greater internet access. Furthermore, the weighting of responses can also influence the final results. Pollsters often adjust the weight given to different demographic groups to ensure that the sample reflects the overall population demographics. However, The weighting process itself can introduce biases if the weighting scheme is not carefully designed and justified. Transparency in the weighting methodology is crucial for assessing the reliability of the poll. Finally, the margin of error, a statistical measure of the potential variability in the results, is an important indicator of a poll's accuracy. A smaller margin of error suggests greater precision, while a larger margin of error indicates greater uncertainty. It's crucial to consider the margin of error when interpreting poll results, as it provides a range within which the true population value is likely to fall. Section 4. Media's megaphone amplifying narratives shaping perceptions. The media plays a powerful role in disseminating poll results and shaping public perceptions of political candidates. News outlets often highlight polls that align with their own narratives, while downplaying or ignoring those that contradict their preferred storylines. This selective reporting can create a distorted picture of public opinion and influence voter behavior. The media's amplification of certain polls can create a bandwagon effect, where voters are more likely to support a candidate perceived as being ahead. Moreover, the media often frames poll results in a way that reinforces pre-existing narratives. For instance, a poll showing a candidate trailing might be presented as evidence of their declining popularity, even if the change is within the margin of error. Conversely, a small increase in support might be touted as a significant surge in momentum. This framing can influence how voters interpret the poll results and their perception of the candidates. The 24/7 news cycle and the proliferation of social media have further amplified the impact of media narratives. Poll results are often disseminated rapidly through social media platforms, reaching a vast audience within minutes. This rapid dissemination can contribute to the formation of echo chambers, where individuals are primarily exposed to information that confirms their existing beliefs. Furthermore, the media's focus on horse race journalism, which emphasizes the competitive aspects of elections rather than substantive policy debates, can further exacerbate the impact of polls. By prioritizing polls and candidate rankings over in-depth policy analysis, the media can contribute to a superficial understanding of the issues at stake. This emphasis on polls can distract voters from the crucial policy differences between candidates and hinder informed decision-making. Section 5. The psychology of suppression, discouraging the conservative vote. The strategic dissemination of polls can have a profound psychological impact on voters, potentially influencing their likelihood of participating in the electoral process. One concern is that polls showing a particular candidate significantly behind might discourage supporters from voting, leading to a self-fulfilling prophecy. This phenomenon, known as the bandwagon effect, can have a detrimental impact on democratic participation, particularly among those who feel their vote is unlikely to make a difference. Conversely, polls showing a tight race can energize supporters and motivate them to turn out in greater numbers. The perception that their vote is crucial for securing victory can be a powerful motivator, especially in closely contested elections. This dynamic highlights the potential for polls to influence voter turnout and potentially sway election outcomes. Furthermore, polls can also shape voters' perceptions of the viability of different candidates. A candidate consistently portrayed as being far behind in the polls might be perceived as unelectable, even if they have strong policy positions that resonate with voters. This perception can discourage potential supporters from donating to their campaign or volunteering their time. The psychological impact of polls is not limited to discouraging or encouraging voting. Polls can also influence voters' perceptions of the candidates themselves. A candidate consistently portrayed as being unpopular in the polls might be viewed as less likable or competent, even if these perceptions are not based on objective evidence. This phenomenon highlights the importance of critical thinking and the need to evaluate candidates based on their qualifications and policy positions, rather than solely relying on poll numbers.